All right, so today we're diving deep into the world of Nvidia. Right, those graphics cards that make our games look incredible. But there's a lot more to their story than just pixels, right? We're talking about a company that nearly went belly up and then somehow became like the king of the GPU market.
Yeah, a real underdog story.
Totally. So how'd they pull that off? Like, where do we even begin?
Well, it's a wild ride, let me tell you. It goes all the way back to the 90s, when 3D gaming was just starting to explode.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nvidia was this young company, super ambitious, and they were determined to get in on the action.
I can only imagine, right? Like everyone was trying to grab a piece of that pie back then.
Absolutely. It was a gold rush.
So what was their first big move?
Well, their first big product was this thing called the NV1. Actually, they even got Sega Saturn interested, which is pretty cool.
Whoa, Sega Saturn, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, so they were really banking on this new technology called quadratic texture mapping.
Quadratic texture what now?
Haha, yeah, it's a mouthful. Imagine like wrapping a flat image around a 3D object like it's gift wrap. It was a clever way to make games look more realistic without needing a ton of processing power.
Oh, I see. That's actually pretty clever. So what happened? If it was so smart, why didn't it take off?
Well, there was a snag, a big one, compatibility, or rather the lack of it.
Oh, no. What do you mean?
So the whole industry was shifting towards DirectX as the standard.
Yeah.
And the NV1, well, it just didn't play nice with DirectX.
Oof, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, it was a major setback. And actually, their next attempt, the NV2, had the same problem, never even made it to market.
Double whammy. So what, they just gave up?
You'd think, right? Two big flops in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be ready to pack it in at that point.
Honestly, most companies probably would have. But not Nvidia.
So what did they do? How'd they bounce back?
Well, that's where things get really interesting, but we're going to have to save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, man, you're killing me. All right, fine, we'll take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to pick up this story and see how Nvidia pulled themselves back from the brink. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
All right, so where were we? Ah, yes, Nvidia, teetering on the edge of disaster.
Two failed products, right? The NV1 and the NV2.
Right. But like I was saying, they didn't give up.
They had that Silicon Valley grit, huh?
Exactly. They dusted themselves off and came back swinging in 1997 with a new card, the Riva 128, ready to take on the big boys like 3DFX.
Ooh, 3DFX. Now, those were some legendary graphics cards back in the day.
Absolutely, but this time, Nvidia played it smart.
Oh, how so?
Well, instead of focusing on some niche tech, they went for practicality.
Practicality, you mean?
The Riva 128 could handle both 2D and 3D graphics, all on one chip.
Ah, I see. So users didn't need separate cards for different tasks.
Exactly. It was a huge selling point. People loved it.
So it was a hit.
A massive hit. In just 4 months, they sold over 1 million units.
Wow. Talk about a comeback story.
It was a real turning point for Nvidia. Pulled them right back from the brink.
Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. But they didn't stop there, did they?
Oh, no, they were just getting warmed up.
So what came next?
Well, buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting. They released the Riva TNT. And this one was a game changer.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about the TNT. Wasn't it, like, super powerful for its time?
You bet. It had this new technology called Twin Texel. It could process twice the amount of texture information compared to its rivals.
Whoa. Twice. So basically, it was like having two graphics cards in one?
Pretty much. It put them right up there with the leading 3DFX Voodoo 2 in terms of performance.
They were really closing the gap.
And they didn't let up. Their next release, the Riva TNT2, blew the Voodoo 3 out of the water. More memory, better performance.
So that's when they really solidified their spot at the top, huh?
You could say that. And then, well, fate intervened. You could say...
What do you mean?
Remember 3DFX, the company they were chasing?
Yeah.
They ended up going bankrupt. And guess what?
Nvidia bought them out.
Well, not the whole company, but they acquired some of their key technology.
Wow, so they absorbed the strengths of their fallen rival.
Exactly. It was a brilliant move, and it set the stage for their next big leap.
Which was?
Well, up until this point, they'd been making better graphics cards. But in 1999, they unveiled something truly revolutionary. The GeForce 256, the world's first GPU.
Hold on, the first what?
GPU, Graphics Processing Unit.
Okay, I gotta admit, I'm a little lost here. What's so special about a GPU? Isn't that just like a fancy name for a graphics card?
Not quite. It was a fundamental shift in how we think about graphics.
Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me.
Think of it this way. Your CPU, that's the brain of your computer, right? It
Yeah.
handles all the general tasks. But a GPU, it's like a coprocessor, specifically designed for graphics. It's built for parallel processing, meaning it can handle tons of calculations at once.
Oh, I see. So instead of the CPU doing all the heavy lifting for graphics, the GPU takes over and frees up the CPU for other tasks.
Exactly, and that means smoother gameplay, more realistic graphics, all that good stuff.
So it was a game changer for gamers.
Absolutely. But it wasn't just about games. The GeForce 256 also had hardware-based video acceleration.
Meaning?
It could handle things like video playback and editing way faster.
Ah, so it made everything from watching movies to editing videos much smoother.
Exactly. Suddenly, graphics cards weren't just for gamers anymore. They were becoming essential components for anyone who wanted a powerful computer.
So Nvidia basically went from being a niche player to a mainstream force.
Yeah, you could say that. And the GeForce 256 was just the beginning. Over the next few years, they released a whole slew of new GeForce cards, each one pushing the boundaries of what was possible with graphics.
And they haven't slowed down since, have they?
Nope. If anything, they've only gotten more ambitious.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, isn't it? But I think we need to take a quick break here.
Already? Oh, man, I was just getting into it. All right, fine, we'll take a break. But when we come back, we're going to dive even deeper into NVIDIA's legacy. We'll explore how they went from dominating the gaming world to becoming a key player in fields like AI and even the metaverse. Okay, so we've seen how NVIDIA went from almost calling it quits to becoming this tech giant. And they're shaping the future of, well, pretty much everything, it seems. Gaming, AI, even the metaverse. It's crazy. But before we wrap up, I kind of want to shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about the technology, the innovations, but what about the why? What's the secret sauce? Like, what makes NVIDIA tick?
That's a good question. I think it's a few things. First off, their commitment to innovation, it's relentless. They're not just happy with created something groundbreaking, you know?
Right?
They're always pushing the boundaries, like they're never satisfied.
Yeah, it's like they always got to be one step ahead.
Exactly, and I think their early setbacks, like the NV1, actually played big role in that.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, it would have been easy to just give up after those flops, right?
Oh, for sure. I know I would have.
Probably. But NVIDIA, they learned from those mistakes. They adapted. They got even more determined.
They had that resilience, that grit.
Exactly. And that's crucial in the tech world. Things change so fast.
Yeah, you got to be able to roll with the punches.
And then there's their vision. They saw the potential of the GPU beyond gaming way back when.
Like before anyone else.
Pretty much. And they weren't afraid to make big bets on those emerging yields.
It's like they had this crystal ball or something.
Maybe. But I think it's more than just luck. They have this deep understanding of their customers, you know.
What do you mean?
They listen to what people want, what they need, and then they deliver products that not only meet those needs but exceed them.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about understanding how that tech can make a real difference in people's lives.
Exactly. Whether it's giving gamers the most immersive experience possible, or helping scientists solve complex problems, or empowering AI developers to create the next generation of intelligent machines.
It's like they're not just building products, they're building the future.
Yeah, I like that. And that kind of brings us to the big question, right?
The million-dollar question, what's next for NVIDIA?
Right. We've talked about the metaverse, AI, all this crazy stuff. But where do they go from here? What's on the horizon?
Give us the inside scoop.
Well, I think the metaverse is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to be massive, and NVIDIA is perfectly positioned to be a leader in that space.
Imagine a world where we can work, play, learn, all in these immersive virtual environments.
Exactly. And NVIDIA's GPUs will be the engines that power those experiences.
It's mind-blowing, really. And with their track record, I can only imagine what they'll come up with next.
Me too. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see GPUs in everything. Our homes, our cars, even our healthcare.
Whoa, GPUs in healthcare. Now that's an interesting thought.
Right. Imagine personalized medicine tailored to your specific genetic makeup. Or AI-powered diagnostics that can detect diseases way earlier.
Like science fiction becoming reality.
It is. And NVIDIA is right there on the front lines making it all happen.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground today.
From the brink of bankruptcy to the forefront of technological innovation, it's been a wild ride exploring the world of NVIDIA.
It really has, and their story, it's an inspiration, you know.
It is. It shows what's possible when you combine passion, vision, and that never-give-up attitude. So to everyone listening, keep your eyes peeled, because the future's being built right now, and it's going to be amazing.
Couldn't said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.